Hey guys, welcome to Sportswallah. My name is Rohan, and with me, if I may say, there's a man who's like a sportsman, a sports person at heart, and well, he's also a millionaire, billionaire, or should I say, a businessman by profession. He's none other than Mr. Vijay Amritraj. First of all, thank you so much for talking to us.
There were about 3 errors in that statement, by the way. Go for it. Go for
okay.
it. Go for
so, you know, to begin with, it'll be criminal if I don't start with tennis. So I'll start with tennis.
Sure.
You know, Indian tennis has had great ambassadors. There's been you, there's been Mahesh Bhupati, there's been Leander Paes, there's been Sania Mirza. Looking forward, who do you think will, kind of take the mantle ahead now from the?
I think it's hard to say. We'll have to wait for the people to make a splash. You know, we haven't had anyone in the world's top 100 in a long, long time.
Okay.
Let alone forget about the top 50. So I think we need to get there to actually make a splash on the world scene.
Okay, so it'll take us a while.
Well, we haven't been there in years, you know, and I think the important factor of playing on a regular basis, playing in the Grand Slam tournaments, I think is a critical element to keep us in the Fed Cup and Davis Cup. And that has not happened for a very long time, and we're still waiting.
Correct. Okay, so if I talk of tennis from your time till now, how would you say it's evolved?
Well, there have been major changes in the last several decades, and I think to a great extent because the equipment got ahead of ourselves, you know, the guys were manufacturing tennis rackets and aerodynamic this and the stuff that goes into the racket and so on and so forth, that, and the average height of the player started to go another 5-6 inches. They had to deal with making the court slower, the balls heavier, so that it takes more of an effort to come forward and attack at the net. So you see a lot of great athletes today playing the game, but 90% of them are really at the back of the court, attacking from the back of the court.
Okay.
And so the game itself, in that regard, has changed quite a bit.
And would you also say the technology coming in with all the aerodynamic stuff and things, it's actually good for the game, or they are making it way too technical?
It's tough to be able to always combine the two. The rackets today, and I'm playing with one of them as we speak, and I don't need much of a backswing to actually strike the ball anymore.
You just do it very freely.
It just goes on its own. But at the end of the day, I think to some extent the skill has reduced, but the pace and power and fitness has increased.
Okay, talking of, Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, they just kind of made a comeback. So, your thoughts on their incredible comeback in, 2017?
Outstanding. I think at the age that Roger is playing on the tour is magical. I mean, I think he's just perhaps taking it one tournament at a time, one match at a time, 1 week at a time. But you can see that he's had that rejuvenation since last year's Australian Open, where he took off for, 6-8 months or something after the and came back. And suddenly the desire was back again. It's almost like watching the third Rocky movie, when the guy goes back in time to his roots.
That's a good analogy, I must say.
To say, I can't be comfortable. I need to go back to my roots and start working again like I did when I was growing up to be able to compete with the youngsters today. And I think to a great extent that's what Roger's done.
Right. So actually Roger's kind of, got back his fitness and everything.
Yes.
So
and desire.
And desire. And of course he manages to look handsome, but that's for all the women out there, not for you and me.
Exactly.
So, I was just talking about fitness to you, like Roger's got it back. There's Novak, there's Andy Murray, and of course Stan Wawrinka. These guys are kind of, struggling with their fitness. So do you actually see them making like a successful return in future?
Well, you can't write off a Djokovic. You can't write off an Andy Murray. You can't write off these guys because they're truly terrific champions.
Correct.
And similarly with Rafa, who came back and won those two. He was overshadowed by Federer's performance and again winning the Australian Open. So I think when you look back at Djokovic has gone and had surgery again. So I think by the time he comes back, let's say he comes back even post Wimbledon or post the summer, you cannot rule out something like that because it's that determination and desire that got him there in the first place. So if he wants it badly enough, he's going to put in the work. He knows what it is to put in the work. So guys like that, you really have to kind of wait and watch, but you cannot write them off.
So as a fan, you could just wait, watch and see they could just come back.
Yeah, when you see greatness once, you can't write the guy off. This is like Woods making a comeback today. Someone says Tiger Woods going to win again. I said, yes, you never bet against a champion.
Correct. That's again very well put. Yes. All right. So, Vijay, if I asked you, what do you think about, other players who are struggling consistently to kind of compete with, the big guns at the big tournaments? What's your take on it?
Well, it's a matter of time. I think you've got the Dimitrovs, you've got the Cilics who've all broken into the top 10. They're all pushing these guys for the Grand Slams. Dimitrov happened to win the O2 Arena event, the World Championships, after Federer lost in the semis. So I think there will be a changing of the guard.
It's like almost there.
Yes, and I think the second half of the 20s is when these guys are going to make that big breakthrough, in my opinion. And I do believe that guys like Federer and Rafa and Djoko and all these guys are going to keep their foot down on the pedal as long as they can.
Okay.
You know, and don't want anyone to get that pushback.
Right.
But the amazing thing is how well these older guys, Federer especially, is doing against the youngest guys who they perhaps never seen play before.
Correct.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah. I agree with you, actually. All right, so if I asked you your predictions for the season with men's and women's, especially now that Serena Williams is, returning to the court, what do you have to say?
Goodness, I mean, Serena to come back, there's another ridiculous champion. You can see greatness when you see all these people playing, and you always look at them and say, when you look at any sport, and you see Schumacher make that checkered flag right at the very end, you see Tiger Woods make that long putt when you don't expect him to do it.
Exactly.
And you see the flashbacks of my watching Muhammad Ali fight live in person, and those kind of things. Those are great moments that are kind of instilled in your brain. So when you look back at Serena and say, I can only see Serena winning, I can't see Serena losing.
Not at all.
So that's the issue. And so I think when you see these players, great champions coming back, they'll all come back. The question is, do they still have that motivation and desire to be able to put in that work?
Okay. So any predictions apart from Serena Williams? Let's say there's, for the men's season coming up.
Well, I think for the men, it would be wise again for Roger perhaps not to attempt the clay court season.
Yeah, okay. So
what he did last year. I think if he can take that break and work hard in time for the grass court season, it'll make a huge difference to someone like Roger. I think Rafa, when he comes back to playing on the clay, I think you'll see him perform at his best again.
So that's again going to be like a wait and watch.
Yes, I think so. But you've got a lot of youngsters pushing them.
Right. So moving a little from tennis to the other things that you do. So you've acted in a film, you've had a TV series to your name, and of course there's also your wine collection that's there. So what are the other things that now we can expect from you?
You know what? I enjoy every single day. I'm very bullish about life. I enjoy being out there doing different things, but I tend to do things that I enjoy doing.
Right.
Including playing tennis, which keeps me being able to eat Indian food whenever I want, which is my main downfall to a great extent because I just adore it in different forms and fashions. And so to eat that, I need to be able to play. So I do that on a regular basis. But more importantly, I enjoy entertainment. I enjoy sports. I always look to see how our Indian kids are doing, boys and girls. So every time they win, you know what that feeling is like.
Right.
And so you feel real proud as an Indian when you see these kids doing extremely well in the world arena.
Okay.
And so that's an important factor to me. It's important for me to be able to enjoy what I'm doing, be it in business, be it in films, be it in entertainment, be it in sports, be it in anything else. So, and I try to challenge myself on a daily basis.
So if I may say, after retirement, although I don't feel you have, but then, on record I have to say, so after retirement, you're still kind of very heavily involved with tennis.
Sure.
And you also do commentary. So if I asked you, what's like a normal day in your life, if it's not in the game, if it's not related to the game?
Well, I enjoy working the first half of the day, which starts very early for me. I'm a morning person, not much of a night person.
Right.
So I tend to start work about 4:30 in the morning, but I finish up by 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, especially being on the west coast of the US, where everyone else is ahead of you in time.
Correct.
So by 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the afternoon, everyone's done. I get to play 9 holes of golf, or I hit some tennis balls, hang out with friends, sit by my pool, read a script, do things that I would enjoy doing.
Right.
And enjoy the day. And California weather is exactly like where I grew up in Chennai.
Which is, again, great for you. So last question before we end. Now, since you're from India, and now you have, again, you're here in India for this, I should actually ask you, do you actually watch Bollywood films, Indian films?
Not on a regular basis, not like my wife does, on a regular basis. And, but because I see Hollywood movies, I literally see 3 or 4 a week.
Oh my.
Because I like to see the new actors coming in, I like to see the new plots, I like to see the new stories that are being told, and so on. It means a lot to me. But at the same time, I follow the careers of a lot of our Indian film stars on a regular basis because there's so much action around what they do on a regular basis. So I think it's important to understand that what Bollywood and the rest of Indian cinema
is doing
across, whether it's Bengali or Gujarati or Tamil or Telugu, whatever, what impact they've had on our diaspora worldwide.
Right.
And what I'm truly, honestly waiting to see is our talent is so extremely popular and so good. What I want to see is also see the mix of talent from India and Hollywood doing pictures together.
Who knows? You might just be the next producer who could do that. So, any personal favorites, if I may ask, from India, Indian cinema, from the new generation, or maybe from the old generation?
Well, the older generation, the older generation. My dear friend Amitabh Bachchan, who I've known for many, many years, who appeared on my television show as well.
I was hoping you would not take his name. That's why I said from the new generation.
Well, Amit is a legend, of course, in
of
cinema
course, yeah.
worldwide.
Who doesn't like him? It's like that, you know.
But I enjoyed taking him with me to Wimbledon, which he really enjoyed.
Right.
I've seen Shah Rukh do his thing outside of films. You know, when he's able to kind of hold an entire crowd engrossed in what he's saying and entertain them. So I've seen a lot of these people perform off screen as well, and they're just so incredibly entertaining, you know, that I really do want to see them in a sort of a Western setting.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rohan.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.